All right, America's Bee here. It's April 1st, 2025, and got my cell builder started. Ideally, this should have been done a day ago, but I'm going to do it today, graft in a few hours, let them settle in to their queenless colony, freshly queenless. It's about 11 a.m., or sorry, it's 12 now. I started at 11, and my dilemma was I wanted to use that colony there. However, they went queenless. They survived the winter, went queenless. About 2 weeks ago, I had that colony in the garden. I did a combine with butcher paper, and so I had 4, and then it was a laying worker, so I took the risk of doing the combine. They appeared to be combined successfully, so then I removed the 2 other boxes that were from the original colony there that went queenless, and I shook all the bees out and then let them crawl back in, hoping that the laying workers would be rejected. And I think what happened is they ended up killing the queen, unfortunately, and so that's that. I brought 10 frames over of a brood frames with some mixed eggs and young larvae, and I had them in 2 nukes, and I combined them with some of my nukes that I sold, kind of boost them a little bit, and I had 1 nuke left, 5 frame of just capped brood, emerging brood, and I knew because they were queenless they would be making queen cells, and I actually had 1 frame with 4 queen cells, and so I put that in there in the middle and the top. It was just about capped. It was probably, probably day 3 instar larvae. And so they're going to be capped in a couple days. So I put them in there. We'll see what happens. I'll check them in a few days and see if they actually finish them versus tear them down, because that technically is a laying worker colony, I'm assuming, since it appears they killed the queen. Because before, she had a really good laying pattern, multiple frames. In there, there's about 15 frames of capped brood in that colony right there. So I shook about 10 of those frames off here to boost my cell builder. We'll see how they cram in there. And what you have here is a 2-inch feeder shim. I'm going to essentially all the capped brood that I could put in there from this colony, I put in the bottom. I put two pollen patties in there on the feeder shim. I will feed them some sugar syrup once they kind of settle in a little bit more, because they're just really pissy right now. But and I got to mix it up, so I'll feed them some sugar water and get them going. Later today, I will graft. This is the blue board there is a double screen divider board entrance, so the queen is up top with a box essentially full of bees still, and I gave them, let's see if I can do this without, so a ton of bees in there. I did give them a pollen patty as well. I didn't feed them just because they're going to have they have honey frames, so not that big of a deal, and there's tons of capped brood that's emerging in there as well. But I put most of the frames that had no cap brood and just like open larvae up top. That way it gives less for the cell builder to worry about. And what I'll do is after I graft, probably in the next 2-3 days, I'll graft, check my cells, and then I will have to make sure I go through all these frames, make sure that there's no rogue queen cells. Unfortunately, this would have been better if I did set this up a few days ago, but time just would not allow me. It was cold and rainy, and I had a lot of stuff going on. And this one was my first backup, first alternate, and unfortunately, I don't know what's going on here. Last night I could not find the queen. because I wanted to do this yesterday evening, about 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock when I had time, and I couldn't find the queen, and there was not very many eggs, and so I don't know, but the box is just absolutely full. And so what I'll do is I'll probably go through this again, and kind of see what I see, but there's a lot of really bad frames in the bottom of those plastic foundations. Not the foundation, but the plastic frames. A lot of them just, they bow and warp and they don't get drawn out well, or one side gets drawn out and they don't use the other side. That's really frustrating. So I got a lot of combs, so I think what I'm going to do is, what I would like to do is move those out to the outside, because unfortunately a lot of them had cat brood or brood in general on there. There were some eggs in there, so I do believe it's queen right. I just couldn't find her. So that's the plan with that bottom box. And let's see, I gotta go through those real quick, but I may just take a peek, not deep dive, especially into those three there. The triple stack nuke, and then these two double deeps. That triple stack nuke is an overwintered nuke that should have sold, but the gal was busy this weekend, and so she'll come by next weekend, hopefully to pick them up. But yeah, they were doing really well. I put this third box on the other day because when I sold a nuke, there was a bunch of frames of open brood that, again, with those extra brood frames I brought over from another yard, I replaced those open brood frames, put them in there, so that way the customer was not getting a bunch of like 3 frames of open larvae that was going to take a while to about 2 weeks or so to eventually emerge from their cells. Well, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, put those down below as well, and I'll answer those as they come in. All right, take care. Americans be.